Alright fam, now this is just a hunch, but I think I figured something out. You know me, I was up last night looking at some Google Earth. And if you haven't already noticed them, behind me, notice the lines. Perfectly straight. Since I started Google Earthing, I've been noticing them all over the ocean floor. And I've always been told they're just drag lines from ships. So I just ignore them. But I got to looking at them. And they're always in perfectly straight lines. And that got me to thinking, if it was a ship in a drag line for fishing, it wouldn't be perfectly straight. With the currents and the waves and everything going on in the ocean, the boat gets tossed around often. And not only that, with all the anomalies and the mountain passes and all that on the ocean floor, the nets would get thrown off. They wouldn't be perfect. And then I got to thinking, God, these look like they're pretty good size for the scale of Google Earth. So I measured one. They're 4 miles wide. So naturally I thought, well, a road system, right? But if it's a roadway, why do they take such sharp angles? And why do they go out of their way over here when the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line? They just cut straight through. And when I say these run everywhere, fam, they're all over the world. Only on the ocean floor, though. Through mountain passes. Perfect. Zigzag. The Red Sea. Boom. Up. So naturally, I started following them. And a lot of times, they'd converge into one spot. And this is what these spots would oftentimes look like up close. Like a grid. And here's another one up close. Like almost like a grid. Like a town. So I continued to follow them. Eventually it led me to the Azores Islands. And if you look closely, it comes into the Azores Islands. There's 3, 2, 3. What look like roadways coming off of it. So it's a hub of some sort. And those of you that watch my videos know that I pointed out the Azores Pyramid, which was bigger than the Pyramid of Giza recently discovered underwater. And that's when it hit me like a freight train, fam. When I was originally exploring the Azores Pyramid, I stumbled upon this. Here's what it looks like zoomed in. What are those? A piping network. Now some of y'all are going to think I'm crazy, but I'm going to prove it. These are canals. Yes, you heard me right. A network of canals. Canals built by an ancient civilization to distribute water on Earth. My number one reasoning for this hypothesis? Mars. In the late 1800s, when astronomers first had good enough telescopes to look at Mars, they all drew them the same, with a vast network of highly technical canals to distribute water from the poles. This is a separate astronomer from the last picture. Same thing. And this is a 1962 Air Force sketch after they looked at Mars. Same thing. But if you look at Mars now, it's usually too hazy or foggy to see it. And what was Mars supposedly ravaged by? Nuclear war. Could this have happened here? Very possible. Most likely did. And it wasn't necessarily nuclear war. It could have been an asteroid. But either way, it either totally evaporated or incinerated the oceans. This is the Atlantic Ocean on Google Earth, towards the North Pole. Look at these massive fissures, if you will. What they're calling fault lines were man-made. And they were man-made to distribute water from the ice caps. Again, this is just a theory, but it has validity. Go take a look for yourself. They're all over the ocean floor, and they're perfectly grid-like. They're done geometrically perfect. My guess, the giants. The giants' civilization built them. When I said in my other video that fault in the Pacific Ocean was a trade route, it was. But it wasn't because the earth gave it water. It's because it was a massive canal. And the higher civilizations back then built them. Take a look from a distance. Up to the ice cap. All the way down. Then it breaks off. Even further back. Boom. Guarantee it. Otherwise, why wouldn't those two faults continue to the land? It was either a nuclear winter or an asteroid When it first made impact, it had the force of 1,000 nuclear bombs. This would evaporate the water. This was said in scripture. At some point, the oceans burn up. Then nuclear winter, ice age. My guess would be that massive asteroid that they found under Antarctica, the crater that's 300 miles wide. So this would have been pre-Great Flood. And eventually, they probably figured out the subterranean pocket full of fresh water. Either that or the higher beings knew about it and they cracked it open. Again, this is subject to scrutiny, but take a look for yourself. I'm telling you, you heard it here first. Like and follow for more.